The Sports Renegades podcast on SportstownChicago.com.
No matter how hard you try, you can't stop us now. No matter how hard you try, you can't stop us now.
Sports. Sports.
Welcome back to the Sports Renegades here on SportstownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky.
Yes, and that was our intro that we play sometimes, occasionally.
When we
on
remember.
Sports Renegades, when we remember, because it's in the production file instead of the music file, and I'm too lazy to copy it over, I guess. But, currently, the Cubs are losing 8-3. Pujols hit a home run while we were on break, a 3-run homer, and then Eric Ibar doubled.
I now remember why I don't miss Albert Pujols on the Cardinals.
yeah, exactly. We're glad he's in the American League now. He's still pretty productive, especially against the Cubs.
I remember when the Cubs played the Angels in interleague play, he was still hitting home runs off. He hit like 2 home runs in a 2-game series. I was just like,
of course.
I remember when Paul Maholm signed with the Cubs. It was the year Pujols signed with the American League or with the Angels,
right.
And then Pujols hit a home run off of him in spring training. And Maholm said after the game, he said, "Yeah, there's a reason that I made sure that I wasn't in the American League, so I could avoid playing him and he knew how Pujols was because Maholm was pitching on the Pirates, which is another division opponent.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the score there. And just to get you updated again on these tournament games, Wichita State is currently down, and once this loads, I think they're down by 10, 56-46.
Oh, so they probably won't win. They're
Doesn't
playing Notre Dame, right?
Yeah, they're playing Notre Dame. It doesn't look like that they're going to win. They're in a little bit of trouble now, but unless they could spark a comeback.
Hey, go on an 11-0 run.
Yeah, just like Georgia State
to win the
did.
game by 1 point. I mean, I've said it multiple times. The way that game ended was literally sounds like a March Madness script. I mean, you go on a 14 seed goes on a 12-0 run against a 3 seed to win the game by 1 point with the coach's son hitting a half-court three-pointer.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better than that.
And at halftime, North Carolina is leading Wisconsin by a basket, 33-31. Still pretty confident that Wisconsin will be able to win. But we'll have to see. North Carolina has tournament magic always, so we'll have to see. But Wisconsin
are they in the
should be
same bracket as Duke?
No. That is the West region. Duke is in the South region. Yeah. So they would the only way North Carolina and Duke would play each other would be in the championship game.
Oh, so North Carolina won't get the privilege of losing to Duke this year.
No, they won't. I'm pretty sure. And yeah, tomorrow's games. Because tomorrow's games are just as good, obviously, because we're down to the Sweet 16. UCLA against Gonzaga, North Carolina State against Louisville. Utah against Duke, so that is who Duke plays, and Michigan State and Oklahoma. That's the game of the night for sure, Michigan State and Oklahoma. 7th seed Michigan State and 3rd seed Oklahoma. If Duke and Michigan State win, I believe they would play each other. And if unless I'm getting confused and I'm thinking that would be the Final Four matchup. Either way, Duke... they really gave Duke an easy bracket. Duke is the 1 seed in that bracket. I think, Gonzaga is the 2 seed in that bracket. Michigan State's in a different bracket, so they would only face off in the Final Four. So that's going to be tough for sure. But I think your winners tomorrow, I think they're going to be Gonzaga, Louisville, Duke. I think those 3 are pretty easy. 2 seed, 4 seed, and number 1 seed Duke. And that Michigan State-Oklahoma game, most people are going to pick Michigan State, which is technically an upset. I'm going to stick with that. I think Michigan State's going to win. The Big Ten's just way stronger than the Big 12 as far as talent is concerned. And Oklahoma, has never been the best of the best, and they can never seem to make it past this point, Sweet 16, Elite Eights. So I'm going to go with Michigan State.
They just don't have enough to take it to their game to the next level.
Right. And this is the time where the coaches really the real reason why you win these games a lot of times.
Yeah,
because of the coaches.
Yeah, this is really getting to the point where the coaching will win you these games.
You have the best of the best tomorrow. I mean, Rick Pitino, Mike Krzyzewski, and Tom Izzo. I mean, it does not get any better than that. It really doesn't. The Cubs just hit a home run, by the way. I will.
You know who was it? Chris Bryant.
Well, I'm gonna update it, and then I will go to the plays, and we will see. Did you want to take a guess?
Chris Bryant.
Travis Wood.
Travis Wood.
Travis Wood hit a line drive home run to left center field off of Jared Weaver.
A pinch hit home run.
Yeah, that's something.
I remember Joe Madden said that a couple days ago that during the season, this hinted that Travis Wood's going to be on the roster no matter what. He said that Travis Wood's going to be his first against a left-handed pitcher. Wood's going to be this number one guy to pinch hit. And I really like that.
I like it too.
I like it because a lot of managers don't want to use their pitchers at risk that they're going to get injured, except Travis Wood is such a good hitter, you want him to pinch hit.
Right.
And, I mean, Joe Madden said Wood's probably their best right-handed bat that could come off of the bench.
It looks like Caesar just hit a single.
Hey, Matt Caesar's having a really nice spring, too. I mean,
he's batting .357, 3 home runs, 5 RBI.
And he's not a home run hitter. So, I mean, a lot of these final roster spots are definitely, the battles are really being played out. Like, guys that you don't expect to win it are outplaying the guys who you think are going to win it. Like, he's outplaying Ryan Sweeney, although Sweeney I want him to make the opening day roster because he's a solid left-handed bat with power coming off of the bench, and he can play all three outfield positions. He's got a good arm. He's a good defender. He's got plenty of speed. And, I mean, which he might make the opening day roster just due to the fact that Chris DeNorfia is only running at 40%.
Yeah. Today, just going back to the college basketball, I mean, some of the Hall of Famers not necessarily Hall of Famers, but there's a lot of good coaches today, too. I mean, if you look at the North Carolina-Wisconsin matchup, Bo Ryan against Roy Williams.
And then you got John Capillari today for Kentucky tonight.
John Calipari and Bob Huggins, those are two highly regarded
How many of those? Which of those coaches do you not like?
Bob Huggins. Well, I mean, no one's really a huge fan of John Calipari, but
you cannot deny what he has done this year.
Right. I mean, he's a great coach.
Yeah, you cannot deny.
I'm just not a big fan of Kentucky. I was rooting for him when he had Derrick Rose in Memphis.
Yeah, you cannot deny what he has done this
year.
It's unbelievable.
And then Mike Bray. You know, a lot of people don't talk about Notre Dame's head coach Mike Bray. He's a hell of a coach too. He's brought the Fighting Irish have been really competitive ever since he's been there. He's been there, I think, 15 or 16 years, so an awful long time. And he's done a really nice job. Wichita State's coach is really good. I can't think of his name, but he's really brought the program up the last 3 years. Arizona's got a very good coach in
these teams.
What's his name? Sean Miller, Scott Miller. I can't think of his name.
These teams are hitting home runs on their coaches, and
right.
That's what DePaul needs to do.
That's the common trend here. All these good teams have great coaches, obviously. Not just a good coach or a good recruiter. They have the combination of both, and that's what DePaul needs.
Maybe they can get was it Fred Hoiberg, the guy that the Bulls are supposed to hire when they fire Thibodeau?
I really wish they didn't. He doesn't seem good to me at all.
I don't know how you can be like, oh yeah, this is our guy when his number 3 team lost to a 14.
He's coaching at Iowa State. I mean, come on.
I mean, well, the thing is, I don't know how you can say this is the guy for the Bulls when he lost to a 14 seed in the first round.
Yeah, that's disappointing. And the only reason why his team won the Big 12 tournament, they hit a buzzer beater in the semifinal game, and then in the final game, they roared back and beat. Who did they play? I think it was Texas. It was Kansas, not Texas. And they ended up coming back and winning that game. Fred Hoiberg seems like a very not dumb but very dull coach. He doesn't know how to fire his team up. Doesn't know. Not necessarily what to do.
And I think Tom Thibodeau's gets the players fired. I mean, you see, he gets his players fired. I mean, Joakim Noah. I mean, when they're playing well, when they're winning games, they feed off of his energy, and so does that crowd.
Right. By the way, I don't know if you saw the game last night. Towards the end of the game, Toronto was already about to lose, but Joakim Noah had his white warm-up jersey on because he was on the bench for most of the fourth quarter because the Bulls had the game in hand pretty much. and they're trying to limit his minutes as he's been sore lately. But the guy on the Raptors, I think it was DeMar DeRozan, threw it out of bounds to Joakim Noah, and it looked like he threw it to him because he was wearing a white jersey and the Raptors were wearing white. So a lot of people thought he threw it because he threw it right to Joakim Noah, who was standing up on the bench.
Did he get like a technical foul or an ejection or anything?
No, but it was pretty darn funny that happened.
That was a good win for the Bulls. Is that home or away?
It was away at Toronto, and now
Of course, if it was a home game, why would they win that?
Their next game is home, so they have a couple days off today and tomorrow.
Yeah, I also read they swept the season series against Toronto.
Yes, they did, and that's a very big deal when you're looking especially if they end up tied. Because then with your playoff seeding, I mean, the Bulls will get the third
considering
seed
they're the only team really the Bulls are fighting for like a spot.
Yeah, I think we're both pretty confident that Washington will fall to that 5th seed.
Yeah.
That they'll stay at that 5th seed. Milwaukee's pretty much locked up a 6th seed, which means the Bulls will play them in the first round, but that unfortunately means they would play the Cavaliers in the second round as opposed to the Eastern Conference Finals.
The thing is, the Bulls...
Which is okay.
Yeah, which they can beat.
You sort of have to play them anyway. So.
They can beat Cleveland because that series between them and the Cavaliers could come down to the coaching. And which coach do you feel better about having between Blatt and Tom Thibodeau?
Oh, that's a very good point.
That could come down. I mean, that's the type of thing that it could go 6 or 7 games, and it really could come down to the coaching.
Yeah, and in that case, I think we'd take Mr. Thibodeau any day.
I'd take him over a lot of coaches in the league, which I'll be very, very unhappy if he gets fired.
I will too, and a lot of people think it's in order for the Bulls to be good long term, they need to look at other options besides.
Which is understandable because of the minutes. Because it's just kind of like he's the kind of coach that you'll get tired of when he destroys your players from all the minutes that they play. Except he's a fantastic coach. I mean, there is no denying what a great coach he is.
Right. So. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens there for sure.
I mean, it's really unfortunate because they haven't had this kind of stability at head coach where you have a good guy since Phil Jackson. And now it's really a shame that he might be gone next year just because management is mad at him because he doesn't get along with management.
This has been the Sports Renegades here on SportsTownChicago.com. We broadcasted live here from 6 to 8 p.m. We had Mark Grody on, the new pre- and post-game host on WBBM News Radio 780. He came on to start the show at 6, so make sure you listen to the podcasted version of that. And, we will be on tomorrow for Ryan and Ryan. We'll get to all the sports news that we didn't get to today. We'll talk heavily about the Chicago Bears and the Bulls and Blackhawks and all of that.
Don't forget, we'll be on from 12 to 2.
Yes, we'll be on from 12 to 2 tomorrow for your lunch power hour, I guess you could say. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I'm Ryan Risky.
Have a good night. We will see you tomorrow. The Sports Renegades Podcast on SportsTownChicago.com.